You're not supposed to believe that this world is an illusion. You're not supposed to. You are not programmed to realize this truth just by looking at reality around you. You cannot. It is too elaborate, it is too wonderful, it is too complete for you to in any way doubt it. You cannot doubt the illusion. You cannot doubt the illusion. The illusion is perfect. The illusion of the world around you and yourself, it is like a contract. A contract that has no way out of it. It's like there is no claw inside this contract that allows you to just, okay, gotcha. This part isn't perfect. It is not. It is perfect. It is bulletproof. It is just something that is built so good. You can never, never, never doubt what you see. This. Why is it built so perfectly? The reason is very simple. It's for you to express yourself as a separate form, as an identity, as someone. So this someone cannot have the smallest doubt that it is what it is, that what's around him is what everything. He acts inside something. And this something has to be beyond all doubts. Why would all nothingness, oneness, create this illusion? It just did. It is just the thing that is. This is the illusion. Voila. This is it. There is no special reason why it is so. Why is it raining? How do you build an illusion? You take time and space and matter. You mix it. Voila. World. Combined together, time, space, and matter. How can you resist such powerful images, such powerful things like matter, like space, like time? You cannot. You see it clearly. It's right in front of you. It surrounds you. This illusion surrounds you. And you cannot distinguish yourself from the illusion because you are part of this illusion. You imagine to be part of this illusion, of this world, by being a separate form inside it, by having a shape, by moving through it, by aging, or just when you make a movement, time is passing. This time has passed since my hand was here and here, so it moved through space. It is a hand. It's just a simple gesture. But so many parameters you see, and the brain is so developed, so it interprets everything and it gets it right. It gets the right conclusion. It sees the illusion as it is, as it wants it to see it, as the illusion wants to be perceived. And so the illusion is perceived in such a way that cannot be doubted. Moving is of something, inside something, towards or backwards or to the side. There is kind of movement, up, down, in, out. So many ways to explore this 3D dimension we live in. But it is only a 3D dimension. It's only like you put your 3D glasses on and you are now moving inside the illusion of 3D. And now it's easier to say that because you can see for yourself that there are ways to create a 3D illusion. I think in earlier times, when people tried to explain what is this illusion, they would say it's like a movie. But the movie is like pictures moving, and you cannot feel the depth of this movement. And now you see that you can create now this illusion. And to say that if you put a 3D glasses on, you enter a 3D dimensional world is crazy, because you know that this is an illusion. It's only an illusion, and it's built in such a way that you believe that there is depth to the image, and you can move inside the image, and so this thing creates the illusion of space in a simple way, because let's start from the point, the initial point, the starting point, that in reality, the absolute reality, there are no dimensions. There is no like one singular point that you can refer to. This point that something is referring to does not exist. So you have no point of reference. You have no point of reference, so there is nothing. This is quite revolutionary, because there's always something that relates to something. Here, there is nothing, so there is no point of reference, so there you can try to understand this truth, that really we are talking about a non-place in a non-time in which nothing happens. So this is the point which is not a point. If it was a point, it was the point of beginning, or something like the Big Bang, or something that started something and it's moving through a process, something is happening. But because it never happened and it never will happen, we're talking about nothing. It's a show about nothing, just like Seinfeld said. You just have to shift your perception of what you see in order to understand this explanation about depth, about space. Because if normally you see something around you, like you are sitting where Simcha is sitting and there is a chair right there. And she's looking at the chair, and the chair is in a certain size that is very proportional to the distance she's sitting from it. Because she knows that if she'll get closer, the chair will be bigger. And so she will move, and the chair will get bigger as she walks towards it. And if she'll go backwards, the chair will be small. Normally, you would think that the chair stays the same. You believe that the chair has some kind of volume and shape that is constant. This is it. This is it. And you are the one that is getting backwards or closer to it. And then you just realize the size of it. You know that the chair, even though you go and you are far from it and you see it in so small, you know in your mind that it has this, it's still in the same size. It's only your perspective that has changed. It's only you. you are seeing the chair in the wrong way, because now it looks small, but it is not small. You know that in your brain. This is what normal people think. This is how the illusion works. The interpretation of the brain, as for the size of the things around it, is determined by nothing. Because the brain believes that things are permanent in their sizes. The size does not change. Only your perspective changes, and it's your fault. Not fault, but this is the way you see it. You only see it smaller. It's not smaller. This is what normal people think. The chair doesn't get smaller. No, it only looks smaller. The fact is that the chair is getting smaller in the picture, because the chair does not exist. There is like a hologram, or hologram is not a good word, because the hologram comes from something, projects into something, describes something, but this chair is nothingness. And in the illusion, you see it as it is. And when you see the chair getting smaller, it's only when the pictures of this one-dimensional, because it is one-dimensional. In reality, the illusion is only one dimension, not even two. This chair appears to be getting smaller because the picture is getting smaller. There is no chair. There is an illusion of a chair that adapts itself to your brain. And this adaptation, that the brain is so sophisticated that it explains why it's happening. It does not let go of the fact that there is a chair. It explains why the chair is getting smaller. If you look at it just naturally and in a straightforward kind of way, you will see that this object, every object, is literally changing its size when you move through it, and this is the illusion of space. This is how it is created. There is no space in which you walk and get closer and further away from things. You are ever still. The illusion of the movement is created by the size of the objects around you. So it's like walking on a treadmill, and you are on a hamster wheel. You are always in the same spot. And it's not you who is walking inside this hamster wheel, but the illusion, the point of view of oneness that is interpreted by your identification as a character is doing that, the point of view, and something in front of this hamster wheel is projecting and creates the illusion of you moving. So instead of just realizing that this is what it appears to be, that the chair is smaller, you tell yourself a beautiful little story that there is a chair and he will always be the same size, it will always be the same size, it's only your way of looking at it will change its size. So this is a very simple example about the chair, but I think this realization came to Simcha while driving. And you can see this very beautifully while driving, this illusion of space. Because basically you drive nowhere, you are not driving. And there is, when you drive, there is a wonderful movement of things in front of you and on the sides. You can see the scenery changing and moving so rapidly. So the movement is... And the same principle happens here, because if you drive, you see a tree, and the tree is getting closer to you. So the tree wasn't there. There is no kind of way or road you were driving on, and there was a tree, and it got closer to it. You got closer to the tree. It's the opposite movement. You were always here. The tree got closer to you. And it did that by changing its size. It was small, small, and bigger, and bigger, and bigger. And when you passed by it, it became very big and then disappeared. And oops, wonderful movement. And apparently you drove by a tree. Apparently you moved, and this is, again, it's so impossible for the human mind to realize this illusion, because this illusion is very, 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 very perfect, complete. You cannot doubt it. You cannot. The physics world, everything, the way the matter is built, it's a grand illusion, it's an elaborate illusion, and it's an illusion that is pre-planned. We planned it, so we will not notice it. We will not think for a second that something is not what it seems. But the truth is that this illusion only happens because our brains are programmed from childhood, or just as, to interpret the reality around us so it will make sense. And it does make sense. What I'm saying doesn't make sense. Why? Because it's too hard to realize that if you're going jogging and you run along the seashore, and everything is so beautiful in the water, and you're running on the sand, and nothing happens, and you don't move at all. Nothing happens. There is no seashore, and you're not running across this beautiful sight. It does not happen. But so how can a person perceive this? He cannot. Does it matter? I don't think so. Because as long as you see this world in this illusion, it is very, very futile to try to argue with this, who am I, who are you? To argue with this perfection, you cannot. It is built so. So even if you call it and you say, no, it is not what you seem, and your brain, it's just no, it's not what you think, and it's only the interpretation in your brain. And even if you think that it's only the interpretation in your brain, you cannot really believe it. You can want to believe it. It's just too impossible. When you reach and you want to pick an orange off a tree, and your hand moves inside something, and it gets smaller, the hand gets smaller as you distance it from your body and gets closer. Not the same size, but and you pick an orange, and there's the illusion of matter and the illusion of time that it took you to do this action. Not to mention all this glory of nature around you. So when Simcha is driving, now, of course, nothing happens ever. And when she's driving, she loves driving because this shift has happened while she was driving. And from the very first instant, she saw everything the same way. She saw the trees coming to her, but she knew that they were not coming. There were not trees. These are not trees. They are not moving. And if you want to catch it, like, you'll say, okay, so the tree in the distance is very small indeed, and if I'll get closer to it, I'll see that it's small. It won't be bigger as I approach it, if it's true. But this is not what will happen, because if you'll stop the car and walk towards the tree on the road, the tree will get bigger as you approach it, because this is the illusion. So you cannot escape this illusion. You can never escape this illusion. You cannot bypass this illusion. You cannot break this illusion like a contract without any flaws in it. It's a perfect contract. There is no way out of this contract. The only way out of this contract of believing the illusion, this 3D illusion, is tearing the entire thing. Just when realizing everything, this illusion is also very clear, the illusion of space. There is no way to reach this understanding before everything else falls apart. It is the radical understanding of the total thing. What is this thing? And when you know what is this thing, this is only part of the realization of what surrounded the character and what she believed to be true. So it's just like another knowledge. Of course, many of you, I'm sure, saw the movie The Matrix. And it's quite accurate the way the Matrix is built, the illusion, the perfect illusion in which you operate. Of course, all the parts about this war and the real place that the character goes to is not true, because the Matrix itself is the illusion, is the thing, is the one that is walking inside the Matrix. So this is not a very good story for a film, but it is truer. But as a metaphor, the Matrix is how this world is built. It's a grand illusion. No one operates this illusion except you. You, meaning everything, all nothingness, is operating this thing. And it does look like the Matrix. I mean, in the illusion, this thing appears, it's not that there is something else in the point of view of the character. When there is self-realization or enlightenment, there is something else. There is a becoming of this thing, and this thing is not at all related to anything the separate form sees, feels, or believes. This thing, when you become, in the very instant, you know what it means that there is something beyond the concepts of time and space, of matter. And this is it. And you are it. And we are it. Everyone. To describe this thing, Simcha has tried to describe what it is, what she is, what you are. It's impossible, because this is beyond everything known to the character, every description known to the character. How can she describe something that is, it's beyond any comparison, or there's nothing like it? There's nothing like this thing to say, okay, it's like. And when you say emptiness, it's like emptiness, it's like stillness, quietness. All these words are very, very far from the true essence of this thing, but they are the closest you can find. So this becoming this thing, while she was driving, the breaking of everything, just continue to drive in the illusion, and it's like Alice in Wonderland. The psychological burden is lifted because you are no longer what you thought you were, just like a character or a woman with all her troubles, identifying with herself and having so much trouble or joy. And she's not, and there is no psychological burden. And what she sees around her, it sees around it. It's just the remaining of the illusion, because the moment this thing happens, you disappear. You're not here. This is why she's saying, Simcha is saying, she's saying nothing, and nothing ever happens. She's not here, you're not here, because that moment eliminates everything. Nothing continues, but the illusion is just like, oh, English. It's like a mirage. It's like something that fools you without any essence, you know, like smoke. This reality is like the smoke after the fire was put out. Nothing was left, and there is only smoke. And this is this thing that has no substance, has no meaning, will vanish soon. The main thing is gone. The identification was gone, and the thing is free, and now nothing is left. But in this twilight of smoke, she can play. She's playing, and everything that happens in her country, the war, the atrocities, her family, everything is a wonderful game that she still witnesses and knows exactly what is going on. And to think that this thing can be contaminated by this trivial, unreal story is crazy, because it's so much bigger than it. It knows it. It's full of compassion on this story. It has no meaning. To see the illusions, the illusion of time, the illusion of matter, and the illusion, beautiful illusion of space. So this is why she says driving is the best way to see it, because you can imagine while you're driving, just when you're driving, try to imagine that you are standing still, that the car is not moving forward, that the car is standing still, and everything is coming to you. This is like some kind of practice to the mind, just to realize what I'm trying to say. That you can do that while driving, and you can try to do that in your daily life when you move forward, and just try to play with the thought that maybe I'm not moving, maybe everything else is appearing to be moving by changing its size according to my movement. It's against what the brain will tell you, but it's nice exercise. Nothing has, just play with the thought that nothing has a certain and constant and obvious size. No, it's not constant. Its size changes, and it changes according to the movement. And then you can start thinking about, if the size changes, how can it be? How can the size change? And it can change because it's not real. It's very simple. It's one-dimensional. Playing with this thought will allow you to just see the unrealistic nature of matter around you, and just a little bit of questioning your concept of space around you. It's so close. The stars are so close to you. I know it's weird, but you're not supposed to get it. You're not supposed, through this understanding, to realize what is true when one thing is. It's just a way of expressing this illusion, me trying to explain this illusion to you, how it is built. When you realize it, it is clear as, I don't know, the most obvious thing you can imagine. It is clear to you that the world is built like this, and the reason why it is built like this. But until that moment, you can only play with the thought as an intellectual practice. You can just play with it, laugh about it. This 3D illusion of a world enables the character to identify with itself, express itself, and it's just fine, because this is what the character is meant to do. If the character, the person, wants to grow spiritually and to understand and realize the nature of things around him, the recommendation, as always, is never through this observation. It's only fun. It's not really helpful. The only thing that helps, as she mentioned, Simcha, and as she got to this point, is only through acting in the apparent illusion in a compassionate way and giving. This is the only way she knows, and this is the only way she will ever recommend. And these byproducts of understanding how reality is built in a three-dimensional way, or the concepts of time, it's just a nice touch. It's not the main thing. The main thing is what this thing is, and this thing is compassion, and this thing is synchronized giving within this place, which is not a place, which what we are. This is what we are. This is the true nature of everything. There is only one true nature. This is the true nature. These are the decorations, how reality is an illusion. It's a 3D world. There is no concept of time. Nothing really happens. These are the decorations on the cake. They're not the thing itself. So you cannot achieve this understanding or be this thing by understanding the decoration on the cake. You have to be the cake and go through all the process of becoming this thing, and then everything, you just need to open your eyes. You know that they are not your eyes. You know that you don't open them, and when you see through these non-eyes, this nothingness, you see it as it really is.